Both how you hold your sticks and how you strike your pan are really important technical aspects of your playing. It's going to influence stuff like how loudly or how softly you can play, how wide your dynamic range is. It's going to influence how clearly you can be understood as you're playing. It's also going to affect your physical comfort after playing for long periods of time. If you don't hold the sticks properly, you could end up physically damaging yourself in the long term. So I'm going to talk you through my personal method that I use when I'm holding the sticks and the one that works best for me. I'm going to carry you through the do's and don'ts of stick holding that you should be aware of, and I'm going to carry you through any slight variations that you need to make depending on the type of pan that you're playing and therefore the type of stick you're going to be using. Alright, so let's get into it. First off, we have holding the stick. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to hold up your pan stick with one hand, and I want you to place the very bottom part of your pan stick onto both your index and middle fingers, just like this. It should land around the first joint of your index finger. After that, you're going to grab the stick so that the tip of your thumb and your index finger are in line. They should be right next to each other. The rest of your hand is going to curve in and follow the contour based off of those two fingers. You should make sure your grip is loose but firm. You should have a loose grip, but it should also be firm enough to keep the stick in place. The most important thing about this is making sure that your index and your thumb are right next to each other. You should be able to wiggle the pan stick in between your two fingers. That ease of movement, where you can move the entire stick without putting in that much effort, is what you should be aiming for. You're going to do a similar thing for pans that have larger sticks as well. So tenors, double tenors, and double seconds have 2 fingers touching the pan stick. Double guitars and cellos have 3 fingers. And then tenor basses, 6 basses, and basses in general are going to use all 4 fingers. As the rubber on the end gets larger, you're going to need more and more support from the other fingers to play your pan properly. Next we have striking the pan. Once you're holding the stick properly, then striking the pan is pretty simple. It's all in the wrist. So here's what I want you to do. Do a little wave. There's a small wave as if you're saying hi to someone. Then you're going to turn your forearm so that it's in line with the ground and do the same thing. That is the basis behind how you strike your pan. It's not in the forearm, it's in the wrist. You're going to move your wrist up and down, and once you maintain that firm but loose grip, the stick is going to move up and down with the wrist. Lastly, when you strike your pan, this is really important, make sure you hit the dead center of the note every single time. After you strike, you're not going to bring your hand all the way up, you're going to leave it hovering right above the note that you just hit. Up next we have common mistakes. Here are a few things that you should pay attention to and try to avoid as you're practicing. First off is having your index finger stretched along the stick. This could be completely straight, or this can be curved further up on the pan stick. You're going to lose the ease of movement that you would get by striking the pan the way I described to you, because your index finger is killing all of the momentum that you create by using your wrist. A straight index finger also makes playing in general more difficult and more painful after long periods of time, and it's going to greatly affect your tone because your sticks aren't going to be rebounding off of the steel pan as you play it. So always, always, always make sure your index finger and your thumb are right next to each other. After that, we have holding the stick too firmly or too loosely. If you clench your fingers too much as you're playing, your stick is not going to be moving freely enough to create the correct tone. This tends to happen when you're rolling or when you're playing really, really fast lines on your instrument. And then if you hold it too loosely, the pan stick is going to be moving around too much in your hand, and that's going to kill your consistency. You're not going to be striking the pan and getting the same tone every time. When it comes to striking the pan now, there are a few mistakes that person has made there as well. The first one is not hitting the center of the notes as you're playing. As a beginner, you should definitely keep this in the back of your head as often as you can as you're practicing, because it's not going to come naturally. As you start playing faster, as you start playing above what you're comfortable playing, you're going to start fluffing your lines. You're going to start playing less accurately. I've been playing pan for 10 years, and this is something that I still have to consider pretty often when I start playing really fast stuff on my instrument. An easy way to double check that you're doing this properly is to record yourself often. Record yourself playing. By doing that, you're going to be able to check back objectively and hear whether or not you're striking the note properly. Because we can oftentimes trick ourselves into thinking that we hit the note and we heard ourselves hit the note, even though we haven't actually. By recording yourself, you're going to keep yourself accountable to being accurate. Then there's using your arms to strike instead of your wrists. If you do that, you're going to end up playing very loudly because of all the extra momentum you're putting into your strike. That kind of hitting is going to carry your pan out of tune pretty quickly as well. Lastly, we have unnecessary movements while striking. Some persons will move their arms back to their sides as they're playing. That extra unnecessary movement is going to harm you in the long run when you start playing faster lines. That's something that I'm probably going to go into in a later video. So I want you to get used to leaving your pan stick slightly above the surface area of the pan after you strike it. To summarize, when you're holding your sticks, make sure that your index finger and thumb are right next to each other. Use your other fingers to support the pan stick based off of the size of the rubbers at the top of the stick, and maintain a firm but loose grip on your pan stick. And when you're striking the pan, make sure that you use your wrist and make sure to strike the dead center of the pan every single time. Once you do that, you're going to be setting a firm foundation for a consistent, reliable playing. That should do it for this video. Thank you to Malik for sharing his thoughts as to what he wanted to learn. If you want any advice or if you have any questions in regards to Steelpan, leave them in the comment section below and I'll make sure to answer any questions you have. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for your time and enjoy your day.